Hey guys, and welcome back to another video. So today's video is going to be a little different. I figured I would unhaul some books with you guys. As you guys know, I feel like once I started sharing books here on this channel, I started sharing books on this channel maybe 3 years ago now, like the end of 2021, I believe. And honestly, that's when God started convicting me about the books I was reading, and that's kind of when I started going on like a clean reading journey, clean romance journey. Especially because reading, I've always read my whole life, but reading became very trendy during the pandemic, and people were reading a lot, but people were also reading what they were calling smut books, and we're not about that anymore. I figured I would unhaul with you guys some books that I've bought over the years, because I really never bought physical books until I started sharing things on YouTube, because I've always had an e-reader. Even when I was younger, I had a Nook, and now I have a Kindle. But I do have some books, and I have more in another room. But I do have some authors that I have read their books, even if they're not, I don't know, I feel like there's different levels of spice. I just feel like I don't need to read them, and some of these books I've been keeping here because they're authors that I like or series, and I'm like, I want to read it and I'll just skip. But I'm just like, no, I just need to fully surrender this to the Lord, and you know, we're done. I haven't really read these books. I haven't picked them up. I bought some of these a couple years ago and still haven't picked them up, so the Spirit does not want me to read these books, so I'm not going to read them. So I want to start by decluttering first these shelves, and then I have another shelf in my brother's room, like a shelf and a half over there. I figured I would just bring you guys along as I go through them, and then I'm going to organize this and just make it more functional for me and for the things that I use it. Like, I have my like Christian living books, like faith books that I haven't read, and I need to make that a goal for next year to actually read. It's a goal every year, and I feel like I read 1 or 2 books and then that's it. And I also have other like clean romance books or Christian romance type books too, so I do want to just get everything organized better and also all in one spot. I'm hoping that I can fit all my books on these shelves after I declutter, so that is the plan. So I'm going to set you guys up and we can start going through some of these books, and I can chat with you guys along as I go through them. I think what I'm going to do first is just start pulling the books off and making piles and go from there. And a lot of these are like popular books that were trendy. Some of them I didn't even read yet. I'm trying to also organize them by category as I pull them off. Like, these are the books that I'm going to be unhauling, books I'm keeping that are more Christian fiction, and then put like my faith books over there. Alright, so the bookshelf is cleared, and here are all the books. I just have the piles. These are the ones so far that I'm getting rid of, and that is the pile. That is it so far. So I'm kind of impressed by myself that I didn't have as many like spicy books in here. So we'll see what's in the other section. These are all like my faith walk or Christian living books, and then these are just either clean fiction, Christian fiction. We're going to go through the other books that I have in my brother's room and see what's over there and see what I need to get rid of. So, okay, so let me show you the books that are in my brother's room. So we have this full shelf up here, and then these books over here. So I think I'm just going to grab and start bringing them to the other room, to the piles that I already have made. I'm going to show you what this is looking like. Not too bad. I thought it was going to be much worse. I thought I was going to have a lot more books I was going to be getting rid of. But yeah, but I'm kind of like at that stage of cleaning or deciding to declutter where I'm just like, I don't want to finish it. I'm kind of done. I'm done for the moment. So here we have the books that are just fiction, fun reading. Over here are the Christian living books, and there's just a couple of like non-Christian living books, but they're like, I don't want to say self-help, but like a self-help memoir type book. Then these are the books that I'm getting rid of. This too, because I know that one has space. I don't know about these, so I'm gonna look them up, see what's in them, and if they do have some spice, I'll get rid of them. I can't remember if I think she does do some spice, so we'll see. That's my pile, and I thought that out of all of this, it would be much worse. So now I just have to organize it, and I'll probably do that a little bit later because I need a nap. I need a nap. And then we can come back to this. And hopefully I'll be motivated again. Alright, so yesterday I decided to take a nap, and then I was going to finish these books. My nap turned into a sleep. It turned into a sleep. I slept for 5 hours. So this is, what we're left with. Just all my books. Still here. So we need to do something. I'm trying to figure out how to organize this because I honestly expected to have a lot less books, and I thought they would all fit on these 2 shelves. But my pile of books that I'm getting rid of, let me show them to you. It's not that big. It's not that impressive. Here are the books. That's pretty much it. This is the pile. That's it. Out of that whole thing. So now I just gotta figure out how exactly I want this all organized. I think I want my faith books in here, like my Christian living books, just because I want to prioritize reading those. So I think if having them here will help me read them, hopefully. And then as I go through my other books, I will see which ones I can let go, see which ones are available on like Kindle Unlimited and stuff, because honestly, if I read, for the most part, if I read a book, I'm not going to reread it. I'm not a big rereader unless it's a book I really, really enjoy. So maybe I'll go by that. Like if I have it on Kindle, I'll just get it there and then donate it. Or if it's a book that I maybe opened and then just didn't read because I wasn't enjoying it, I'm gonna get rid of it because I have a couple of those. I saw a couple of those as I was reading, so that's going to be my plan.
So I remember.
Okay, so I got my faith books put up on that shelf, which now that I'm thinking about it, I'm gonna get more. My spiritual mama, the Bible study that we do with her and a few other women, she has books that she has for us to pick, and I just know I'm gonna come home with more books, so those are gonna go on that shelf. If you guys would like to see a video of all my Christian living faith books that I have, and just like me going through them and talking about the books and talking about the ones that I've read, which I have this much books and I've read this much out of them, but I can do that. Now I'm just gonna go through all these books and see what I want to keep, put them down there. I have a few of these. These are commentaries. So, but they read more like, they read less like a commentary where you look up verse 2 or whatever, but it's more of like a book. And then these are the Bible's 2 Worsby Bible studies. This is, or one, it's the workbook and the commentary for Ephesians. I think I'm gonna keep these in the other room. These I'm gonna put where I have all my commentaries, because I actually moved them to this thing right here. If you open the door, that's where I've been keeping all my commentary. But now I'm gonna go through these books. So I figured I would do that with you. Just kind of go through which ones I'm planning on keeping, which ones I'm not. Atomic Habits. I want to keep it, want to read it, hopefully. I have this, I'm Glad My Mom Died by Jeanette McCurdy. It's her memoir, and I do want to read it, so I'm going to keep it. The Silent Patient, my favorite thriller book. I can't remember if there was spice in it, but I'm just going to keep this because this was my favorite book. If there was, it was very this much because I truly don't remember it. But so I have a few like thriller books, and I do want to read them. Some of them are young adult thrillers. Here's The Twin by Natasha Preston. I've read this one. It's kind of reminds me of like a Lifetime movie. Yeah, that's kind of what thrillers, that's the vibe thrillers give me for the most part. Unless they're like super, super good. Most of the time they just remind me of a Lifetime murder movie. But I know I want to keep this one. This is by Ailey Hazelwood, which she's the same author as some of the books that I'm getting rid of, but those are her adult romance books. This is her first young adult book, so there shouldn't be any spice. I have a couple of books by Sophie Cousins. I tried reading this one, but I just thought it was a little boring. So this one's a little bit different, so I might keep this one, but pass on this one. The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. I feel like everyone was talking about this book when it was super trendy, but I honestly don't care. So I'm just gonna pass it. The same with Normal People. Really don't care about it anymore. And then I have my Practice Makes Perfect. I also have this book on my Kindle. I've read it last year, read it this year. Still my favorite romance book, like clean romance. I just love it. I don't know what about it. I don't know. I just love the characters. I love how their romance builds. This book makes me so happy. And I will read it every year until I'm tired of it. Some fantasy. I have the Atlas 6. Truly have no idea what this is about. I have this Book of Night by Holly Black. I think this is her adult fantasy book, like first adult fantasy. She wrote The Cruel Prince, or not the Folk Air trilogy. I did enjoy that. And then I have my Twilight book. I'm not getting rid of this. I know a lot of people have opinions about Twilight. I'm keeping it. I feel no type of way. And then I also have some more like serious books. I have The Brothers of Auschwitz. I always say that weird, so apologies. It's about brothers during the time of the Holocaust, so I know that's gonna make me cry. And then I have some more like books that we read like in school, like Animal Farm, The Lord of Flies, 1984, Fahrenheit 451. Just more serious books that I wanted to have in my collection. And then here I have more like Christian author books. This is by Kim Cash Tate. I think there's 4 novels by now, but this is a series. I've read the first one, Though I Stumble? Yeah, Though I Stumble is the first one, and it was really good. It follows 4 women and just their lives and how God is working in their lives in very realistic situations. And that's something that I enjoyed because it wasn't just like everyone's this perfect life. It's like, no, I thought this was a really good book. And then there's a next one, and it goes through, let me see, 2 of the same girls, and then a different girl and a man. Yeah, so it's different people, but they all still connect. So I wonder if I should reread this one again. I might. This was a good one. I have the other ones on my list. I just haven't gotten there. I love this series. This is the Song of Seer series. My aunt has the first book. I need to get that back. And it does bother me that the second book is not in the right cover. The same cover. Or the third book. I might rebuy it. But this is a good Christian, like it's a Christian fantasy type of book. I really enjoyed it. So I shall keep these. Here are just some Christian romance books. I have some Karen Kingsbury, and not gonna lie, I've had these books here forever. They were my sister's originally. She never read them. I'm not gonna read them. I also have one book by Francine Rivers, which is Redeeming Love. I know people love this book, and then there's other people that hate this book, and I understand. She used to be a secular romance writer, a spicy romance writer, and honestly, it makes sense. Like, once you know that she used to be a romance spicy woman writer, it makes a lot of sense when you read her book. Like, I wouldn't even consider this clean, honestly, just because some of the stuff that, like, after I read the book and I did my review, like a little bit later, like, you know, weeks later, when I started thinking about the book, I was just like, oh, I remember this happened. I'm like, oh, I don't think I would want to read that in a clean book. I feel like there should have been a lot of trigger warnings in this book. She says it's, and I'm reading from the back, it says, a powerful retelling of the story of Gomer and Hosea. It's not a retelling of the story of Gomer and Hosea. It's so loosely about that. She kind of took the fact that there was Gomer and Hosea was told by God to marry this prostitute, and that's kind of the most that those two stories are similar, in my opinion. I truly don't. I understand people love this book, and I can see how it could be healing, but I also see how it can be triggering. If you have suffered through sexual abuse, don't read this book. If you are coming out of reading secular books and trying to stay away from spicy books, don't read this book. If you are still, I just feel like if you're healing from a lot of trauma and just from different things, this is not the book for you. There are certain situations where, like, now that I'm thinking about it, I'm like, that one scene when she's like finally running away from the guy, like, sorry if this is a spoiler, but like, there's definitely, like, that is not I would call that spicy. Like, sure, it wasn't extreme detail, but like, you know what's going on, and it's just like, and it was also like those trauma too. Like, there's just a lot in this book where I'm like, I thought it was a well-written book. I enjoyed the book. My problem with the book is not, it is more that this is considered a retelling of the story when it's very loosely based on the Bible story, and that there are no trigger warnings. I feel like there should be trigger warnings. There's just a lot more when I think about it, because I don't think she's a bad author. I read this pretty quickly. I thought she was an excellent writer. Like, her writing is really good, and I understand why people enjoy her books, but definitely, I don't know, I hold Christian authors to a higher standard than I do to a secular author, because they're secular, they don't know Christ. I don't recommend this book. Not necessarily because I'm like, oh, bad book, but I'm just like, I don't know where you're at. Here, we got my woman, Dee Henderson. I love Dee Henderson. I love her books. They are an extreme slow burn. Like, she does not mess around. There is Jesus in there. There is mystery. There's suspense. There's romance. But the romance is very this big. The God is this big, the mystery is this big, and it's all very slow, which I really enjoy when I'm reading her books. But because I'm almost done with that series, I think it was one book I'm reading and then there's one more after. I literally can't get myself to finish it because it makes me sad. But someone did recommend these books by Colleen Cobble, which, really good. I have to finish this book, but physical books have just been so hard for me to read. But she's giving me the same vibe as Dee Henderson. And so, which series is this? Did I order 2 different series? I think I did. I think I ordered a first from each different series. But they're kind of connected, but I need to read this series first and then go into that one. I have Junie B. Jones because I bought this for my niece. This book I bought, what was that book called? It was about the kid, and I think his face was disfigured. A lot of elementary schools like ended up reading that book with the 5th graders. It became like the 5th grade book. So this is similar to that and this guy's memoir. Haven't read it. I've had that book for, oh my goodness, I've had that book for probably 10 years now. Folk of the Air by Holly Black. I have The Ninth Reign, which I have not read yet. I have my Percy Jackson 1 through 3. And then I have the Mistborn trilogy, which I have not even opened. It's still in the plastic. Like, this is, I really need to read my physical books, guys. I'm gonna put these on the shelves. Figure out how I want them on the shelves. Probably the ones that I want to read first on the shelves in the front. We'll figure it out. And then I'll show you guys what I do. Alright. I have finished for the most part. Let me show you guys all the books I'm getting rid of. So here are my stacks. Which is so crazy because there's so many of these books I haven't even read yet. And it's so crazy because some of these books were some of my favorites. Like Book Lovers by Emily Henry was my favorite book from her. Christina Lauren, really enjoyed their books. It's 2 authors. And let me show you guys what the books are looking like now. So here are the faith books, and I just have 2 rows. The back are the books that I'm less likely to read next year, and then the ones in the front are the ones that I want to read, like prime TBR. And then these are books that I have read. Like, look how tiny this pile is. I am missing a few books, but it doesn't matter. Small pile of books, and it should be bigger. Definitely want to make a bigger effort next year to read more faith books. Then these are all the books that I got here. In the back, I just put the least likely that I'm going to reach for first. And here are some that I might reach for. And then I left some room here because I know I'm going to be getting more books. So I just wanted to make sure I have room for more of the books. That was all my books. I probably have a few more just hanging out around places out that I've lent. But I think this is it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I just wanted to share I guess sharing my convictions on how I needed to get rid of some of these books. And yeah, see you guys in my next one.